Hi everybody, this is Joanne from the Chicken and Biscuit Show. I try to do the show on Sunday evenings, but there's no light in my living room where I moved. I don't have lamps, and there's just no light in here. There's no nothing. There's no light in the evening, so it's the only light I get is a little bit from the computer or in the kitchen. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about a little bit today was so the if you had listened to the song "The Dance," um, I think it talks a little bit about had he had known, and I think what's happening is, and we have to end this cycle. Like women, as women we have to end the cycle because if we're waiting on the guys to end the cycle, we're gonna be waiting a long time because it hasn't seemed to be going in that direction. So the cycle is a woman gets with a man, and maybe because he has a job, and maybe doesn't have enough. She doesn't. She hasn't done the work, gaining the knowledge. But the internet's a game changer now, right? So sometimes, she gets with a guy that used to be the old way of thinking. So my mom's like, just find a guy with a good job, and I was just like, well, there's more to than that, right? But it was such a strong belief that she had. My hairs are kind of messy. I'm gonna put my hat on here. Hang on. There we go. So, because when I look at this, I could see myself, and I do these videos to help people. I don't have to do them. I don't make any money from doing them, but hopefully one day I'll have a show and I could bring some guests on. I know people that have um I know a couple have been married for 50 years, and he used to beat her, and then she started fighting back. They're still together now, which is crazy. I know, like, just there's been a lot of uh, just crazy things going on, particularly living in Canada. Canada has there's a lot of just a lot of wow, there's a lot of things going on in Canada. Anyway, so back to what I was saying about this song. So what I want to try to do is like mention a song, "The Dance" by Garth Brooks. Listen to the song, and then um, the lessons that we could take from the song is like I know that the guy that I had kids with, he he said to me, when we ended the last time when I broke up with him the last time, he said to me, I just later on he said I just because he pretty much you know bothered me for like 6 months after. We broke up and got back together so many times, and because he really played on my emotions, I wasn't in love with him. I got lonely. We met. I was kind of lonely because I was heartbroken over my high school love that I loved, and he loved me. And we just took different paths for a while, and then you know, I met him, but it just wasn't, it was not just all his fault. We just weren't good together. And later on, he said to me, I, what did he say? He said, you always just took me back, you know. And had I known, he goes, I never intended to hurt you. And after a while, it was like, how could you have not intended to hurt me? It's like you got off on hurting me. So what did you like at some point? You know what the problem is that when you're as good as you're ever gonna get at like 15 or 16, if all you're ever gonna know is at 15 or 16, like if you don't have picked up any book, you haven't done any research, you haven't done any self work, self growth, um, like whoa, and you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s. These people, you gotta watch out for them because they're a lot of trouble on a micro level in a relationship because they get off on like arguing with you because they're stupid, you know. Um, so women, the lesson here is like because he was the seventh kid. His dad walked out on them after he was just a couple of years old. So mom had seven kids to feed. She was out there, and I'm still close with his mom, and that drove him crazy. And actually, I had to stay there with him a couple of years ago with her mom, not with them. I don't know what's this thing hanging off my hat here. Holy smokes! But then he tried to get uh, us thrown out of the apartment with the 3 cats. So it was pretty brutal. And his mom just stopped talking to him after that. She said, "Now I know how you feel, because sometimes you can understand something, but until they do what they do um, to hurt you to another person, that other person doesn't really get how awful it can be." So anyway, I mean, it's not a nice situation, but she was so hurt by it that she was done with him, you know. But you know, women have to think ahead to say, look, you know, having a baby to fix a relationship is not the answer. Getting married to fix a relationship. Sometimes the relationship is gone. It's just a situation left. You know, so we have to make sure that we're staying strong and empowered and thinking ahead, saying, look, this is not really going so well, so I don't know if having another baby is, because odds are that the woman's gonna be the one raising the child, and it really takes a toll on you after you're. I've raised 2 kids on my own, and wow, like, you get tired. There's other things you want to do, but you know, your spirit is, you know, the spirit of God is in all of us, right? The spirit of God says, let's go, let's do this, but then the other part of you is like, you're physically tired and mentally tired, you know. So we just have to keep our sensibility about us and our future protected, to say, look, okay, you know what, I made my bed with this guy, I laid in, and now I have to do the time, and you know, I have to do probably his part too in some cases. So let me do that, but let me stop, like, the bleeding, if you will. Stop the hemorrhaging by having kid after kid after kid after kid. Because, you know, you gotta say, you have to do this probably about 20 years, 18, 20 years, you know. And man, it's just a long time once you've done it, raised a couple of kids. So, I mean, maybe, you know, have your couple of kids, take a break, and maybe later on in life, you know, adopt. There's lots of kids that need to be adopted. There's some girls in India that are put up for adoption just because they're a girl. You know, I think maybe in 10 years from now, maybe I'll go adopt a couple of little girls from India, to say, you know what, you have self-worth. You are special because you are a little girl. You are a girl, you know. And so God made men and women, and unfortunately, there's only a few good men. They even made a movie on it. So I just young girls, you gotta watch these guys, young pretty girls. I tell you, these guys are gonna try to just hit it and leave. You know, you got to really protect yourself in your future, and you know, use protection and make sure that you don't find yourself pregnant with a guy that's not going to be around in a week. That a week from now hasn't happened now, but you have to think, like, you know, you have to, like, vet these guys, you know, like, let them talk, let them paint a picture, find out who they really are. Do they have street credibility? What's their family like? You know, are they going to be able to help pay some bills? Are they working? Are they, you know, are they just trying to, they want you to be their mother. They want you to pay the bills. I mean, my ex always used to go cook, he'd clean the house. Big deal. Where's the money? You make some money? You gotta make some money. You know, that's what it takes to pay the bills. To go in, and he made bad decisions. I was just following along like a dumbass, you know. We were on a trip once. We went to California, we went to Vegas, we only had $100. You can't go to Vegas with $100. It's a stupid thing to do. And you always felt like you just couldn't do what you wanted to do. You couldn't enjoy it. But I just kind of followed along, you know. And he was like, he would just play you, you know. He would just play you, and then, oh my gosh. So just, you know, and like his mom, like I said, you know, she had 7 kids, and then the dad just walked out, you know. And wow, you know, boy, he hid his family when I first met him. I'm telling you, I didn't meet them for a long time. You know, he was trying to make it like they were all like, you know, he had like a brother, that apparently molested the daughter. He had uh, one of the other one's brothers died. His son died in jail. Like, I mean, it was just crazy, crazy stuff, you know. And his mom is a good person, and she, you know, she did the best that she could. Um, I think things are always gonna get a little bit better when you take your kids to church. I didn't take my kids to church. It's an awful thing. I got them baptized and stuff, but on a regular basis, I didn't. I go to church now, like usually at least twice a month. But um, just yesterday, they randomly had this question and answer period in church. They asked 3 questions. Everybody was like really surprised because that's not something that usually goes on in a Catholic church. And one of the questions was name the 10 Commandments in order, and not one person out of hundreds knew it, including myself. I mean, I knew about 7, 8 of them, but not in order. I could get a few of them in order, but and then there was another question, did anybody force you to come to church? And then the other question that happened to be asked to me was, why did you come to church today? Do you know why you came to church today? And I said, yes. And he said, okay, why? And I said, to hear the word of God. So I felt like in that moment I was strong and I was confident, and I felt like I was connected to the community, and I was, you know, representing a woman at that moment to say, look, you know, excuse me, I have a clear understanding, you know, why I go to church, and it is to hear the word of God. Excuse me. Along with a sense of community, and it's nice to see the families together. Um, I feel very connected to God when when I go to church, and it's just a really nice place to be, and I like how I feel afterwards. You know, um, sometimes this is a I don't know. Sometimes I'll eat something and I think that I really want it, and I'll eat it, and I don't feel good after. But when I go to church, like sometimes it's like, oh, I gotta get there on time, and sometimes, but I always feel good after, always. And so that's what I wanted to say. Okay, bye.